So just right there, I hooked him out, and that was a little bit of a strike right there. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day, getting ready for the weekend. So just want to say thank you guys for the support on the channel. Thank you for subscribing and commenting and coming back for another video. So if you missed out on the last video, I got a new addition to the collection, and we're going to see him in just a few seconds. So I need to start socializing and trying to see how tame this new male is. And I've been extremely lucky over the last 41 snakes that I have, and really only 2 of them so far. I don't know how he is, but the 2 of them have just given me quite a bit of some issues. So one of them is the female Argentine boa, and she is extremely defensive, aggressive in her cage, but when she's out of her cage, she's really not that bad. The other one that I've had for maybe about 8-ish months, maybe 9, 10 months, is right here. It is a female VPI Aztec, and she, ever since I got her, she's had an attitude. So it's been, a long journey with her on trying to calm her down, tame her, and progress is being made. So that's definitely a plus. She's not 100% perfect yet, and I don't know if she ever will be, but I would like to get to that point. So just a few quick tips, and not to make this a super long video. I don't have gloves, so we'll start off with that. I don't know where my gloves are. I do prefer to wear gloves around aggressive snakes or defensive snakes. I know some people say they're not aggressive, but let's just say snakes that are defensive, that do like to bite and will bite if they have the opportunity, like her. So one is, I like to wear gloves just because I don't like to get bit personally. It doesn't feel very good. It's not a life or death type of a thing. I don't like when their teeth break off into my fingers. I don't like that feeling. And since the room is carpet, I don't like to drip blood because I bleed quite often when I get bit. So those are just my main points on why I wear gloves. Another thing is, if you have a snake and it is defensive or you're not sure about it, it's always good to have a snake hook. The one thing that I do like about a snake hook, you can use a paper towel roll or anything long enough so it's not just your hands where it can't strike at you and bite you. I would highly suggest touching the snake with it down its back or on its head so it knows, you're not a threat, and just to kind of get it at a peace of mind where it's not going to have a food response. Because a lot of times if you just go in and grab a snake, or depending on how the situation is of grabbing it, it might think you're food, or it might have a very strong feeding response, and it could bite you and it could wrap, which is not what we want. But if it's small enough, it's not a big deal. So one of the main things is, with a hook, you can go in and you can kind of touch its head, go down its back, and then kind of scoop the snake out. A lot of times that will put the snake at ease, get it out of a food mode. You kind of want to go in at the snake on an angle like a scoop, and not just like a grab or a reach. It's more natural, and it's less likely for the snake to think that you're a bigger, a prey item that's going to try to eat you. So this girl still hisses sometimes when I open up the drawers. She's known to still strike just a little bit, but a couple of months ago I wasn't even able to do this, and when I got her, there was absolutely no way I could be holding her like this without gloves or barehanded like this. So progress is being made with her. I do know some people, if it's a very a very defensive snake, they will throw, or they will set a washcloth over a snake's head so it can't see you, so it calms it down, so when you do pick it up you can remove the cloth, and then the snake should be a little bit calmed down by then. I really think it's the initial reach and grab where they're smaller, they just see a gigantic item coming at them, they get scared, so they're going to try to defend themselves any way possible. I mean, I think really anybody would do that. So we have to build a bond with them, we have to build a trust with them. Normally it's on the human's end that would do something to break the trust. So like I said, the main thing is you want to get them sociable, so where you can handle them. A lot of my snakes I can just reach in. I can open up a drawer or open a tub or open a cage, and I can reach in and I can just grab them with no problems. And so right there, that did startle me. I was not prepared for that. But like I said, I'm still working with her, and I do like to talk, like move my hands around when I do talk. So she is targeting on my hands, so she does think that something is, you know, is going to be a threat to her. But for the most part, like I said, I have to work with her. I have to build her trust. And as long as, so like I was saying, there's some snakes that I don't need a hook at all. I interact with these animals daily, so I know the ones that are going to give me an issue and the ones that won't give me an issue. Most of the time it's the boas that I will hook out, or the berm, or the anacondas, because I don't want any issues with them. And it just gives me a peace of mind. It makes me feel better personally. Opening up some of these drawers, if it's, you know, a lot of these ball pythons, and there are some ball pythons that are just crazy, and they will bite you, and they don't want to be touched or anything like that. So we can see her. She's, well, however, so still going to be working with her, but you know, just to be able to hold her is a very positive thing about how she was in the past. And I have videos on her from before, how I couldn't even touch her. So the new addition is a male green anaconda, and anacondas are very different compared to every other snake that I've noticed. I've been very lucky. Both of my other anacondas, Pop-Tart, Mountain Dew, I don't have a name for this one yet, and I'm trying to ask you guys for a little bit of help on that. And I've interacted with both of them since they were babies. I've had every snake that I've owned, I've had since baby, so I know how they eat, I know their health, I know their body language, and I can just interact with them as a baby, and then I know everything about them. So anacondas are, you have to put time into them, a lot of time. They can be extremely sociable, they can be extremely tame, extremely nice, and I think you guys have seen the videos on both of my other anacondas on how they are. One thing that I've not experienced is an anaconda bite. I'm sure I will at some point. Anything with a mouth, anything with teeth can bite, so anything's possible. Even the nicest snake can bite, strike at some point. They're not the most intelligent animals. You know, if they think something's food, or if they get a heat signature wrong, something could happen. So I've never messed around with him yet, so I'm going to use my hook. I'm going to you know, gently touch him to let him know, like, hey, food's not coming in here. I'm just not going to go in there and scoop and grab him up like you know, like I'm trying to eat him or do anything like that. But I'm told that anacondas have a very wide range of strikeage, if that's a word. So they can basically strike backwards, upside down, any direction, the length of their body, and they strike without really any notice or any signs that they're going to strike. Most snakes will coil up. Most snakes will stop flicking their tongues. Most snakes will make like an S shape with their necks. You can tell, like, if you've been around some snakes, that you can tell when they're going to strike. With anacondas, they could be perfectly calm. You have no idea, and it could whip around and it could bite you. So luckily, I have not experienced that yet. I don't know how he is. I was told that this snake is, we'll kind of find out. So we'll take him out. And this is probably the darkest green anaconda that I've ever seen in my entire life. So just right there, I hooked him out, and that was a little bit of a strike right there. More like a closed mouth strike. So I'm sure I'm going to get nailed by him. My very first bite ever was from Mountain Dew, my other Grand Anaconda. So, I mean, it was just a little nip, nothing serious. I was told that when I got this from Sam Fisher, he could hold him. He's not anywhere head tame at all. So if you start messing around with his head or have anything around his head or his mouth, he likes to bite and nip. So I'll try to get this a little bit closer to the camera. So as you can see right now, and I just got him like 3 days ago, so I really don't want to stress him out too much. So I'm going to expect a few nips from him, I would assume, because that's just kind of the nature of these baby anacondas. My goal is to work with him as much as possible. Obviously not when I'm feeding him or when he's in shed. But my goal is to, like my other anacondas, is to be able to hold him any way that I can and pretty much just let him run his head through my fingers just so he gets a little contact, and that way he won't bite, if that makes sense. So you really don't want a snake that's super head shy or that's going to strike or bite if you do try to touch around his head or his neck, which is what obviously he does not like. So this will be a nice challenge, which I am up for, just like the other Aztec. So it just goes to show that snakes do have personalities. Every one of them is different than another one, and they're not all the same. So you could have one snake that's completely calm and tame, and then you could have another snake that is very hateful. But if we interact with them, it seems that we don't have to interact with snakes. Snakes don't need human interaction. They don't need any type of bonding with anything other than food and water and stuff to survive with. So one of the main things, if I can get this thing to look up, there we go. So one of the big main things with them is obviously we do this for our human enjoyment and entertainment. So he's not going to the bathroom, he's not musking, which is a good sign. I've heard anacondas do musk a lot. I have not experienced that, but we'll see what happens. And it's like one of those things. I have been bit before. I'll get bit in the future, and I will keep bonding with these animals, because it is proven that you put your time and energy into these, and they are very, very rewarding, and I've experienced that, and that's with any snake. So it's not just with these guys, but it's with berms, boas, and ball pythons, and even corn snakes. I was watching Cloud Klubrits, and he's got some crazy corn snakes, milk snakes that are literally like want to chew your fingers off. So it's pretty interesting. But like I said, all the snakes have different personalities, and it just is going to take time for you and for me as well to bond with them and gain their trust, which is probably the most satisfying thing, is to have a snake that hates you, wants to eat you, bite you, and then you can gain his trust, and then you can hold on to it. So this is extremely dark anaconda. My other ones are very green, very dark eyes on him, and I really don't want to be moving my fingers around too much, but males do stay smaller than females. I think they're around 9-10 feet, which is, it's still big. It's still a big snake, but they don't get to 16 feet like the females do. But, you still don't want an angry, you don't want any type of an angry snake. So that's it. Be calm, be relaxed with your snakes. If they're trying to bite you, wear gloves, use a snake hook, use something to protect yourself, because not all of us like to get bit. And it's a nice little safety barrier, and then it kind of makes us feel just a little bit better about going in and dealing with these animals just a little bit. So have an awesome weekend. I'm going to try to get him to eat. He's not eating for me yet, and then that'll be another challenge as well. So appreciate you guys coming to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.